What's going on, everybody? It's January the 17th, 2023, and this is the Overlook Drive-In, live on Phantom Empire. I'm Shawn, joined as always, Mr. Mike Fish from Take One Podcast. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot, man. Excited to dive into tonight's episode. Got some really good content. It's good to be back on the show. I felt like it's been a very long fucking week. So excited to jump back in it tonight, and yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
I definitely agree on the long week part. I'm also curious to hear where you stand on everything, and actually doing the graphics for Mike's scores right now. So like I'm laying my eyes on Mike's scores for 7, which we're going to discuss in a little bit, for the first time. So I'm just getting an idea now what you thought of the movie. I'm intrigued. Can't wait to get into it. But first up, man, HBO seemingly has done it again, and at least for most people out there, a lot of people are extremely pleased with the debut of The Last of Us, based off the video game, obviously. Did you get a chance to see it? And if so, what are your initial thoughts on it? And actually, I guess first and foremost, have you played the game?
No, I haven't played the game. Outside, have been an Xbox guy for the past, I don't know, 10 years. I owned a PlayStation 2, and then I've just been Xbox the rest of the way through. So, still to this day, not to get off track, but I think PS2 is probably my favorite console. It just takes me back into a time where I was heavily invested into gaming and have a lot of good memories with the PlayStation 2. But yeah, I've been Xbox ever since. So I didn't get to play the game. I've heard a lot of great things about the game, especially the last one to come out, The Last of Us Part 1. It looks fucking amazing, and I've always wanted to get a new PlayStation for The Last of Us and for the Spider-Man games. So those are games that I've always wanted to play, but no, I have not played the game. But overall, just as far as the show wise, it was something I was really looking forward to, just because of the trailer looked absolutely phenomenal. And honestly, I wanted a new show to be able to fill the void of House of the Dragon. We talked about it before, and I've mentioned that outside of football, and that's getting ready to be over with, there's not a lot to look forward to on Sundays anymore. With House of the Dragon, I knew at 9:00 p.m. every Sunday night for those 10 weeks that we were going to get an absolutely phenomenal show, and that's what we got with House of the Dragon. And once that left, it kind of left a hole that needed to be filled. And so far, so good for The Last of Us. I believe that The Last of Us is now the second highest rated show debut wise, behind House of the Dragon. So that's obviously awesome. And just a real quick, synopsis of like kind of my overall view of episode 1, man. I really enjoyed it. I thought the graphics were phenomenal. I thought the storyline was phenomenal. It had me intrigued from, jump. I thought the acting in it was really good. And, kind of going back and looking like when the show was first announced, when Pedro Pascal was announced to be involved in the show, that was a huge seller for me. And then all of the great things that I've heard and have seen a little bit from Bella Ramsey has been really, really good as well. So having these two being the main two people, that was very intriguing. Um, so yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I kind of wish I played the game so I could feel it on a different level to what some of these other fans are able to feel it as. Like I scrolled through TikTok and I came across a video of a scene in last night's Sunday night's episode, to where I believe her name is Sarah in the show. She gives Joel the watch, and it's not working, and it shows that on the top of the video, and on the bottom is the exact same thing from the video game, and it's just super cool to see that stuff. But unfortunately for me, a lot of those little hidden nuggets aren't going to hit like it does with some people. So I don't know if the show overall will have the exact same effect as it would, to somebody who has played the game. But I'm always interested to go back and see what those nuggets are, and what they tie in from the video game compared to the show. I will say that the consensus that I get from people who have played the video game are already saying after episode 1 that this is the best iteration of a video game ever. So that's good to hear. But for somebody who's not played the video game, man, I think it's off to a really, really good start. And I'm getting like, after that first episode, I wanted more, and I can't wait for Sunday night.
So I haven't played the game either, and I don't know where the story is going at all. I know I think there's two games. That's really all I knew. I knew it was a apocalyptic type setting, highly successful game. I know I've seen trailers of it. And HBO was going back to the tool that they used while doing Game of Thrones. Like both of these guys are Game of Thrones vets. Pardon me. And I think Pedro Pascal has had he starred in a couple of big time Netflix movies, obviously in The Mandalorian as well. I don't know what else Bella Ramsey's done specifically, but either way, they were both very integral to that show at different times. And HBO goes back to that, and it seemingly works. So I have not seen the final 7 minutes of the episode. I just ran out of time. So for what it's worth, final 7 minutes, I don't know anything. But it was really good. Like, I don't know if I was completely, blown away. It's the best thing ever. Because I don't have that, video game history to tie things to. All those people have a chance to really have an ability to experience this love letter to the IP that they love, right? So I liked it. I didn't think it was the best thing ever, but I definitely thought that I could see myself being like, okay, yeah, I'd totally watch this. I mean, I'd compare it to Yellowstone, not in terms of tone, but in terms of show quality. And I think that's pretty big praise if you ask me.
But I mean, to your point, it doesn't even have to be the best thing ever. It kind of brings me back to a movie that won't be named, or just any movie in general. Like, you can like a movie and enjoy a movie and it not be the best thing ever. Like, I felt like when a lot of people, like when I walked out of Black Adam, I had fun with Black Adam. I thought it was an okay movie. I enjoyed it. It's not dog shit. It's not the best thing ever. But I felt like when I did my review, I had to put in there it's not the best thing ever, when I shouldn't have to do that. I can, we can say we just enjoy this show, or we enjoy this movie, with, I feel like, having to add that context. But not to get on a negative rant, but I just feel like sometimes the internet is so toxic if you say something's good or you enjoyed something, it's expected that it's the best thing ever for you. When a 3-star out of 5-star movie to me is a good movie. Doesn't mean it's dog shit. Doesn't mean it's great. It's good. I had fun with it. You know what I mean? Uh, Again, just a small rant.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I thought, or not I thought, pardon me, but rather I think that fandom in general is toxic as shit. And it almost feels like you have to over apologize for things nowadays. But just to be clear, I meant like, so for me, the best
Mhm.
TV show in terms of quality that I've seen in the last decade is Game of Thrones. And I'm going to put House of the Dragon right up there too. I haven't seen Stranger Things, not a single episode, so like I can't even begin to compare it yet. Eventually, I will dive into that.
It's
Um,
it's not on Game of Thrones level, obviously. Although season 4 is they took it up a huge level. I mean, granted, the amount of money they were able to spend, money helps. But I agree with that as far as Game of Thrones. I don't think there's no debating that personally.
yeah, so like for me, it's not that high of quality, but I'd put it up there with the Yellowstone, and I really, really enjoy Yellowstone. We actually just finished 1883 here. That was really, really good. Well done,
Nice.
and definitely want to just take a second, give some props to Tim McGraw and Faith Hill for their performances in that show. That was incredible. If you haven't seen it yet, Mike, give it a shot. Like if you're really digging Yellowstone and the Dutton family,
Absolutely, yeah.
you'll want to dive into 1883 and 1923.
I'll do that, man. I'll definitely have to do that for sure. Because I love Yellowstone, even though I haven't started the new season at all. So
Oh, you got time. They're on a break now till like summer.
yeah,
So
I, I heard. I heard. I was like, damn, break already.
yeah, I was bummed. Thought I was going to be watching another episode. And then same thing just happened. 1923 put up 4 episodes, and where they stopped, it was like, oh, come on, give me the next one. And I thought that the next one was coming out. It's like, no, we're not coming back till February. I'm like, oh my god, what?
I thought that The Last of Us did a really good job with one. It was a pretty long show. I think it was close to an hour and a half on that side of it. I think that they did a really good job with the time that they had, letting us connect as much and as best as we could with his daughter in the beginning. And then to a point to where she obviously, we know what happens with her, being able to feel that on a level. I just think it's hard to, in general, to write a good script to where you feel invested and connected to these actors and these characters in general. But when you can do it in such a short amount of time that they did it with his daughter, I think it worked. Now, like I just feel like that every scene that she was on there on the screen was very important. Like it created dialogue. They really honed in on those two and their relationship. And I think the fact that they were able to do that and really show the connection between those two, that was probably the coolest thing for me to see in that episode, because again, it's hard to do, and for them to do it in that very short amount of time that they were able to do it, just goes to the writers and the creators, obviously. I thought that was very, very impressive.
Yeah, no, they didn't have a lot of time to work with. I like the way it was presented. There has been a lot of zombie apocalypse shows, movies, you name it, over the last, I mean, forever really, but specifically the last 20 years. There's been a ton of them.
Yeah.
Uh, I personally like the fact that this felt different. Like you knew immediately, hey, this isn't The Walking Dead, you know,
Yeah.
and this is Night of the Living Dead, and it's certainly not Shaun of the Dead either. You know, it was different, and I think that's important. Is it couldn't just feel like another, hey, here's just some other run of the mill zombie apocalypse show.
Yeah. I mean, because let's be honest, Sean, they've run Walking Dead down into the ground with the 2 spinoff shows that they've made. You know, they've just kind of run that entire Walking Dead series into the ground, and I know there's even 2 more spinoffs coming from The Walking Dead, and you know they've made so much money, and that show's been so successful. And I think we've talked about it on the last show. I think I thought the first 6 to 7 seasons were really, really good, and that's where it takes a real big nosedive for me. I think if they were able to cut it off at season 6 or right when Negan comes in, I think it would definitely be in contention for me personally as one of the best shows that I've ever seen. But when you take a show and you dilate it or dilute it, I should say, and you run it for as long as they did, it just goes back to the dilution of the show and takes away from how strong it was. That's why I always harp back to the Duffer Brothers with Stranger Things. Like a lot of people think season 4 was the best season out of all of the seasons, and they've announced that they're only doing 5 seasons. And although it's personally my favorite show, and I'm going to be super sad to see it come to an end, I don't want it to turn into a Walking Dead where we're getting 8, 9 seasons of something, and when you get into those latter part of the seasons, it's just watered down, repeated stuff. I'm glad that they are wrapping it up at I think a really, really good time, and that's just something I wish The Walking Dead did. But I agree with everything that you said.
Yeah, it's tough because The Walking Dead did run the show into the ground, in my opinion. And obviously, there was a lot of financial reasons behind that for some of the creative choices that they made. I know Carl's exit is still sours a lot of people because they not only went away from the comic storyline, which it's not like they were following it to a T, anyways. Uh, but the belief is they went away from what they had initially wanted. And it all came down to finances. I think when you have a big hit series like that, if you're letting money get in the way of what something could be, then you're the problem. Um,
Yeah.
and it became a problem. But I agree with you, man. When I was younger, I wanted, for me personally, I wanted as much as I could get. I wanted a Star Wars movie every fucking year. I wanted 30 Halloween movies. I wanted 30 episodes a season of, I guess back then it'd be Smallville. Um, I wanted it all. And then the older you get, the more you realize, well, hey, if you could have, let me use this example. If you could have Logan, or actually better yet, if you could have the Batman, or you could have Batman and Robin, Batman Forever, and Batman versus Superman, which one are you taking? Are you taking those other 3, or are you taking the one? I'm going to
I'm
take the
taking
Batman personally.
Yeah, I mean, I only like one movie out of the 3 that you named. So I'm going to take the, for me, close to 5-star movie.
Yeah. Quality over quantity is the point we're getting at here. And I really, really like the fact that HBO limits their shows, most anyways, to like 10 episodes.
Mhm.
I think that's good. One of my favorite shows of all time is Supernatural. I would have loved it if they could have a do-over instead of doing a bunch of 22 and 23 episode seasons. I think if they would have backed it down to 14 or something, it would have been way
It's
better.
that many episodes?
Yeah, oh yeah, dude. There's like 273 episodes in the series. Actually, there's 327 episodes in the series.
Man, That reminds me of like I know you know, a show that we used to watch, we both like, One Tree Hill. I remember when I first watched that, it was like 23, 24 episodes a season, and they're so
Yep.
long to get through. But
I've
yeah,
been
man, I mean that
uh,
kind of, talking about running shows into the ground. I was in a relationship a few years ago, and I got stuck down the gravity hole of sitting there with my girl, and she's watching Grey's Anatomy, and then you just naturally get invested into the show. So what do? I go back and I watch Grey's Anatomy, and it's absolutely phenomenal. For like they did a really good job with that show. I think it's a really good show to like the 12th season, which is a very long time to stay relevantly good in my opinion. And then that just died off, but they're still making so many seasons, and it has to be due to the financials of the situation. But that's just another example where I feel like they could have cut that off a lot sooner. But why would a network want to do that when it's bringing them in so much money still? That's a network TV show compared to a streaming. I don't know how different that may be. I don't know if it's that big of a difference or not. But I'm sure that Grey's Anatomy is still a huge, huge financial pool for, I think it's ABC.
Yeah, I believe so. Shonda Rhimes and all the crap that she does there. I fell down that rabbit hole too at once upon a time, but like I gave up a long time ago. It became extremely repetitive, and it felt like
Yeah.
there was no long-term story plan, and that was a problem for me.
Yeah, I think after, again, like after I have to go back and look, but I think after the 10th season or 11th season, whenever I think Patrick Swayze, I think whenever he made his exit on that show is kind of when it
Patrick
started to go a little downhill. So
You mean Patrick Dempsey?
same thing.
Oh man, Grey's Anatomy, the special edition with the late Patrick Swayze.
Man, I feel like an ass now.
You've just watched too much Dirty Dancing.
You want me
Um,
to be honest with you? I've never seen that movie.
really? I mean,
I
that's a
never
classic.
have.
I definitely think
Dude,
that's
I've
worth
never,
watching.
I've, I've never seen that or Grease. Neither one of those.
What?
No, I know, it's crazy. Don't even think about adding it to the Overlook.
No. Grease isn't a movie I would pick here. I was surprised that you didn't see Seven, but so they had 90 minutes to work with in this first episode, or 80 minutes, I guess, is the actual episode length.
And you say that. Let me ask you this: Do you ever feel like it dragged for you in this episode? Because I feel like it didn't. Like when I remember because I watched it. Obviously, I watched it on HBO Max. So when I watched it, I saw the runtime, and I was like, "Ugh, I hope they can hit on this." You know what I mean?
No, I don't know if I ever found myself sitting there going, "Oh my god, this seriously
Yeah.
needs to get moving." Again, I didn't love it. I thought it was good.
I think
thought it was
I think it's definitely going to pick up. Well, you got to finish the last 7 minutes, but it's definitely going to pick up.
yes, I have not finished those last 7 minutes yet. Uh,
The reviews
yeah,
of the first season overall, though, are pretty good, though, man. Like, I know there's some people that were able to see the whole season, and they're pretty good.
they do seem like they're very high, and I'd say I'm stunned, but I don't know, man. HBO seems to nail TV.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And I just feel like what's shocking most is, and what gives me so much like I trust what everybody's reviewing is because, let's be honest, a lot of the people that I've seen review this have played the video game, which I feel like they would be a little bit more harsh towards this show. So for most of them, or really a lot of them, honestly, to come out and say that it really hits and is a really great first season, I think it's huge.
Yeah, it's definitely a step in the right direction for sure. I just hope they can sustain it, right? Like having a really good first season is a lot different than having a very good first episode.
No,
Um,
I agree, and again, I think we're gonna get a good first season. I don't know, man. I've read into it, and I think we're set up pretty good, man. I think we're set up pretty good. The I don't want to say bad thing, but the only bad thing is, I feel like House of the Dragons ended not too long ago. So if we come out really really loving The Last of Us, like I did with House of the Dragon, I'm gonna be sitting there like, oh, what the fuck is next? You know what I mean?
well,
What can I
thankfully,
watch next?
guys, so there's 3 different Star Wars series coming this year, so I got that to
Lucky
look.
for you.
Lucky for me, indeed. Um, what did you think the strongest part of the show was?
For me personally, I would have to go with Pedro Pascal's performance in general. I just think that I don't know, when he's on screen, it's just like I feel laser focused in, and I really think that his his relationship with Bella Ramsey's character Ellie is going to be the real shining moment in this show. I love the way that Ellie is. What we've gotten from her so far, she seems to be uh somebody who doesn't hold back, and I think that that is going to clash a little bit with Pedro, but in a good way. Like I think they're going to, again, I don't know anything about what happens, or how this show is, what's supposed to be going on. I guess that is one of the good things about not playing the video game, is I have no idea what's going to happen, but I think they're going to build a good, real strong core relationship here, and who knows what that is going to end like or be like. Because the consensus that I got, Shawn, from a lot of the reviews, one of the words that was in pretty much every review that I saw was emotional and heartbreaking.
Mhm.
So that intrigues me a little bit, like what's going to happen. Um, but I would have to go with Pedro Pascal's performance in general. I think that anytime that he was on screen in that first episode was really really good, along with really the cinematography. Like I really enjoyed it. Like I love the thumbnail that that you put together here. I love. I don't know. I love the apocalypse look, and it's kind of hard to pull off to be believable. And I think they did a really good job of that. So I would go with the cinematography in general, and then just Pedro Pascal's performance were the big standouts for me in episode one, along with what I talked about earlier, building that relationship and with his daughter, and having us feeling that emotion when it's kind of hard to do in that short amount of time. So just a couple of things there.
Yeah, when you don't have a lot of time to work with and you want us to, feel for these characters, it's hard. You know, they're, you know, it wasn't the greatest thing ever. Again, there we go saying it again. But like at the same time, it's like, hey, I felt more for their relationship than I have for some characters I've seen on screen for multiple seasons of a TV show. And if you can say that, at least storytelling wise, they're most definitely doing their job.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. That's what gets me so excited. Um, because they start off so well with the writing. It gets me intrigued. It gets me bought in. Um, I don't know, man. I'm excited for it. I really am. I feel like we are on that. I feel like I'm on that level of really looking forward to Sunday nights, because with House of the Dragon, man, like no lie, like I was sitting on my couch at 8 o'clock, just ready for that 9 o'clock hour to hit to watch the show, man. And I think that after the first episode of The Last of Us, I think I'm kind of with you. It wasn't the best thing ever. It's not on the level of House of the Dragon for me personally, at least not yet. But it has me again. Like, I'm really looking forward to Sunday night. So I think it did its job and what it was supposed to do in this first episode.
Yeah, again, I agree. I don't think it's on the level of House of the Dragon, but at the same time, in fairness, I sure as hell didn't expect it to be either. So, I think
True,
if
true.
you know,
I think
and I
I think the no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the biggest thing for me, the one worry that I did have was, were the writers going to be able to tell a story that people who hadn't played the video game be intrigued with and be able to connect with? And I thought they did a great job of doing that.
Yes, yeah, no, they definitely did. It'll be interesting to see what episode 2 brings us next week. We'll probably be reviewing each one of these on here. I too thought that Pedro Pascal's performance was the standout of the episode. Again, I haven't seen the last 7 minutes, but I'll say this though: I hope they don't fall into the trap of The Walking Dead. And The Walking Dead, after the first 2 seasons, fell into the trap of, we need to stay stationary in one place for way too long, or hey, here's
Yep.
more planes, the exact same planes that you've seen before, we're just shooting them from a different angle to make it seem like they're different. um, I hope they don't go cheap like that. If you're going to do a zombie apocalypse show, find a way to do it where you're spending an equal amount of time in cities, big cities, small cities, towns, plains. It should be a variety. When you spend, 90% of your time in one area in a zombie apocalypse, I don't know, it's just not entertaining. Not for me anyway. So I hope they don't fall into that trap.
No, I agree with that. I don't want to say pushback, but I will say that I really did enjoy, um, when it came to like I agree. Like, I hope the Last of Us does different from The Walking Dead, because I don't want to see that stationary same old thing again. But I do think that, at least for the first several locations, for example, Herschel's farm, the governor's, like, that area, and the jail, I think really worked for me personally as far as stationary. But, like, kind of when they got to Alexandria, that's kind of where it fell off for me.
Yeah, there was a moment at Alexandria that I thought was decent, and
It
then
was when they first got there. For me, I thought, oh, okay, and then, like, I'm pretty positive, I might be wrong on this because I stopped watching, but don't they spend the rest of their time in Alexandria?
more or less.
Because I remember reading an article, and I went down to Atlanta to visit some of the Stranger Things locations, and I went down to where Alexandria in The Walking Dead was filmed, and they still had the wall up. But I know that they were taking the wall down now that the show is over with. So I had just figured that they were in that Alexandria city town that they had built for the entire rest of the show, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, they definitely hung out in that area for quite some time, but they also branched off and did different things. But again, just not enough going into like a city like mine. You don't have to go into the Torontos of the world or the Los Angeles or the New Yorks. You can go into a city that's 200,000 people strong and just looks lived in. I know it's
Yeah.
harder to do and it's more expensive, but you can't just give us planes all the time.
Well, like, let me ask you this, Shawn. Do you feel like the creators were under, and I don't know this for a fact, but do you feel like the creators were under any pressure from AMC to, let's say, maybe the creators wanted to finish this show maybe earlier, but they felt pressure from AMC to do more seasons? Or do you feel like it was mostly on the creators to do the more seasons?
I think the shit that went on behind the scenes there with Kirkman and everybody else was as toxic as the shit that was going on behind the scenes with Halloween Ends at the end. Not a good situation on either side. So
Yeah, I agree.
But don't worry, that movie's the best movie ever. Sorry, no, I had to. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I know for a fact the video game does not spend all their time out in the plains and stuff. They go into cities a lot. So I hope that they stay true to that. I hope it's big budget and we get that feel, because we've never really had a massive budget zombie apocalypse show to tune into. Some people will point to The Walking Dead, but like their budget was in their actors. That was an ensemble cast, and they were, cutting costs wherever they possibly could.
Yeah. Do we have a movie for next week?
No, you got 2 in a row.
If you don't mind.
As a movie, or you don't mind?
No. Like I have 2 movies.
Oh yeah.
Suggestions wise. Now that we're on this topic, kind of, it doesn't
Yeah.
fall in that, but I was gonna go both Quiet Place movies.
Yeah. No, that'll be fun. I haven't seen them yet, so.
I know. And these are movies that.
Is there a prequel that's either coming out or happening out?
No, it's coming out. I don't know when. I think 2024 though.
And then the sequel, the third one's 2025, right?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Honestly, I haven't heard. I haven't heard anything else about it.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure there's a prequel and a sequel coming.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Let's do that up. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of news to talk about. We have, we have The Last of Us too to cover during that time. So why not?
I know you
all apocalyptic up here. It's not like
I know
the price of everything on planet Earth is going up or anything.
Well, I do know that we're supposed to be getting a Scream trailer on Thursday, so that seems exciting. That'll be good to see.
Nice. Let's take a brief time out here for a second before we dive into 7 and just say thanks to our sponsors. First up, Backtrack Cinema, Mr. Jason Knight. These are not his 2 most recent videos, I believe. I think he has something else out after this. I just haven't had time to update it yet. But check him out, Backtrack Cinema. There is not a more kind, honest person out there on YouTube than Jason. Definitely check out his content. And then our guy Jesse, check him out. Bunce Force Trauma, Tasty Treat Master at yahoo.com, soundcloud.com/Bunce Force Trauma, and Facebook /Bunce Force Trauma. And then our guy Christy _78. You want to get Myers work done on one of your masks for a little rehaul project? Go ahead and reach out to Chris. He offers great rates and a great finished product, and we might have something to tease a little bit on that front here soon. But stay patient; things are slowly getting back to normal around here.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? You finally got to see what's in the box, so there's that.
I technically didn't. I didn't get to see what was in the box.
Oh yeah. Well,
technically, you don't see. Which is fine, obviously. I need to sing Chris. I need to sing Chris this beautiful 18 mask before it goes to shit.
You should. You definitely should.
I like.
The question is,
one of the good ones.
Do you just make it a good 18 rehaul? Do you go?
No, I'm gonna do a good 18 rehaul. Like I got a really, really good one from Trick or Treat Studios. Like I got really, really lucky with this one. And I don't want it to go, I don't want it to, whatever rubber does over time. I don't want it to do that.
Yeah, no, definitely hit him up, man. I can't think of anybody better and easier to deal with. So definitely check him out. Sorry, I'm trying to find, there we go.
What's in the box?
It's 7 time. So I gotta say, I didn't see this movie until I was probably almost 20 years old.
I was 29.
You don't say. Um,
Hello? Did we lose Shawn?
oh, could you not hear that?
No, I cannot.
Uh-oh. That's not good. So can you not hear when I play music?
Do it again?
Hang on. Let's see if why don't we just do it this way. It's not a very big clip anyways. We're working a little backwards here. Mike, what were your initial impressions of David Fincher's Seven? I know I talked this up. I saw your scores, which the audience will see in a little bit here after we have our discussion. Did it hit you like you thought it would, or?
I have to be honest with you. I thought it was a really slow burn for the most part. Like, I feel like me personally, it's a very slow paced movie until the final act. I will say this: it's probably one of the most jaw dropping endings that I have seen. Just because I wasn't expecting to happen what happened.
Yeah.
I know my scores might seem low to you, but I still think that this was a really, really good movie. I'm not the biggest slow burn type of movie guy, so I think it affects it there for me as far as pacing. But I thought the story was really good. This is a movie, but I'll be honest, I see Matt's comment that he loves Seven. I have to be honest, despite its, for me, slow burn, I love this movie. Like, I really enjoy it. Like, this is a movie, if the Steelbook were to come out tomorrow, I would go and buy it. Like, this is a movie that I would rewatch. I haven't gave my Letterboxd score yet, so I'm going to do that tonight once I get off the podcast. But I think overall, man, it was a really, really good movie. I thought the acting in it, we'll get into that, but I thought that was the standout personally for me. I heard that. Whatever you were about to play, I heard that. But yeah, man, I have to. That right. Like, I'm not lying to you, man. This scene, like this entire scene, no lie, I was sitting up on the edge of my bed like this. I'm like, no way, no way. Like, once he started to bend down to open, like once he started opening that box, like I thought it was maybe a bomb. Once he was to open it, it was going to go off. So I was very invested in the movie. It's a very good movie, but especially this ending scene, dude. Like I gush over it because I think it's just one of those jaw dropping endings, and it might sound sick to think about because of what happens, but like it's just like, if you love twist and you love shocking moments, like this is one where you're gonna pick your jaw up off the ground. Like, it is absolutely phenomenal. And no,
Dean
I'm
says
sorry,
they
Dean.
only made the sequel 8.
This movie deserves no sequel. Not because it was trash, but because it is phenomenal as a standalone film. I loved it, Shawn. I'm sure you wish I gave it all 10.
No, but you'll get
I'm sure.
horns for that one. I don't want a sequel to this movie.
Yeah. Again, outside of one that I thought was all my scores I feel like were pretty good. At least the way I do grading scales. Like, I just thought it was a really good movie, personally.
No, I didn't think your scores were in. I thought they'd be a little bit higher than where they were, but we'll get to them a little bit later on. Let's tune into this because I got some questions about this.
Put the gun down.
I saw you with the box. What was in the box?
Because I envy your normal life.
Put the gun down, David.
It seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box?
Not till you give me the
What's
gun.
in the fucking box?
Give me the gun.
Man, love that movie.
I will say, I did not. I didn't think he was gonna do it. I didn't think he was gonna do it. I thought that Morgan Freeman's character was gonna be able to talk him out of doing the right thing, and yeah, that did not happen.
No,
He let John Doe win, and we don't do that. But John Doe deserved that shit.
yeah, he did. Guy playing
This
him.
might be the most vocal I've been about a movie or about an ending so far on the show.
It was an incredible ending. Let me ask
Don't
you.
you wish you were me though, being able to witness this for
Who
the first time
doesn't
again?
wish you? Everybody wants to be you.
Oh no, I'm not like that. I'm just talking about to be able to be in my shoes to watch this for the first time.
Until the Eagles lose this weekend, then you're fucking throwing shit, and then I don't want to be you. So,
NFC Championship.
Did you catch the hint leading up to it though? Because they didn't hide it; they smacked you right in the face with it. The question is, did you catch it or not? Pardon me.
No, I didn't. Probably not. If you remind me, if you don't mind.
Hang on, I'm seeing if I can find a clip of it.
No, that's fine. I'm trying to think because I've only seen it once, obviously. Sometimes it takes 8 watches for me to get something.
What? Oh my god. Excuse me. What was your favorite part of the movie, and why?
This.
Yeah, this scene here.
Can you not? I can't. I know it's probably. Huh?
The slow burn paid off then.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't think it's a bad movie at all, because if it's a slow burn that has no payoff, my scores would have been a lot lower. I think I enjoy slow burns more if it's a good payoff. And again, I just kind of walked through of how I was, excuse me, at the end of this movie, being like I set up in bed watching this movie. Like I was highly intrigued. I was like jaw dropped to the ground. So I guess for the slow burn part in this movie, for how slow it was, there are a couple of scenes I guess that kind of stick out. Some of the kill scenes that they go to were, and the way some of these people died were fairly interesting to say the least. Especially the first one. That's the big guy. That was I don't know, very unique. Anyways, I thought that the scene that he turned himself in, although very simple, I thought was very good as well. When he's handcuffed to the ground and the cop gets blood on his hands and he just like seems disgusted by it, and John Doe is like, I want to talk to my lawyer. Like it's in that voice, very simple. So there are a couple standout scenes for me. But I have to go with the end, and I just don't think it's a competition, man. I just think with the intensity, how I reacted to it watching this scene, it might be a basic answer, but I have to be honest about it. It was the ending. And you're on mute, by the way, if you're talking.
I can't find a clip of it, but there's a scene in the movie where he actually bumps into Kevin Spacey's character, and he's the photographer, and he gets pissed off at him and tells him off and tells him to basically go fuck himself, and gives away his information, being a big shot and a hothead during it. And that's how Spacey, John Doe, is able to track down his wife. So it's actually Brad Pitt's character that fucks up earlier in the movie.
I have to go back and watch it. This is a movie I'll definitely be watching, but that's very interesting. So, very, very interesting.
Like the acting in this movie too, like
top notch.
It's hard to ask for more. You know, you got Gwyneth Paltrow, Morgan Freeman. Say what you want about Kevin Spacey, he is a shit fucking human being. There seems to be a lot to back that up. At the very least, a very awkward creep. But you cannot deny the man's ability to perform. Incredible talent.
Two things can be true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simple as that.
Dean says the rewatch value of 7 is great. I totally agree. I remember seeing this for the first time and going, oh, how the fuck have I not seen this movie yet? Like, it completely blew me away.
Yeah. There's I've not to get too off track, but 2023 I'm trying to watch movies that I hadn't seen before. So far I've watched all 3 John Wick movies.
Yep.
You want to talk about a fucking badass? Like, good luck trying to count his kill count. Good luck with that. Those were really good. I watched Christine for the first time. I thought was really, really good. And I watched Seven for the first time. So I'm off to a really, really good, strong start.
Can't get enough of that Corey Cunningham, huh?
Funny. That's real funny.
Uh,
But no, man, this is man, really, really good movie. You did good. You did good picking this one. It was a good watch. What about you? What's your favorite scene?
I mean, this one here is a big one, obviously, the end one, but that feels a little bit like a cop out. Like, it's definitely my favorite, but I want to give some
It is.
I want to give some attention to the first scene where Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman meet in the movie. And Freeman is like just not having any of what Pitt's saying whatsoever. He knows he's in over his head here. And they do a really good job of, one, setting the dynamic, but two, you get some really quick world building done.
Yeah, I think that works really well. I think Morgan Freeman's character really stands out as well because no matter the situation, I feel like he acts the same in every scene. Like, his demeanor is the same in every scene, in my opinion. Like, most of the time that very cool, calm, collected person. Even in the scene that you're showing now, he's showing a little bit more emotion, but he's on the calmer side still. The most reaction that you really get out of him for the most part is going to be when he opens the box or when Brad Pitt busts down the door of John Doe's apartment. And I think I might be wrong, but like Morgan Freeman calls him like a dumbass or I don't know, something like that, or an idiot or a fucking idiot. But no matter what, Morgan Freeman's character always keeps the same tone during the movie. He's very honest, saying that he doesn't think that David Mills should be able to. This should not be his first case. He should be working this case. Like, he's very honest. I think they do a great job of.
You're coming in and out on your mic right now. I don't know if
Am I?
anybody's hearing that. That's better.
Okay,
And,
sorry. Okay. I think they do a really good job of connecting us with his wife as well, building that relationship so we feel even connected even more with her. So they do a really good job overall in this movie. So
I'm terrible with character names. I should know them. I do, but it's fucking Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman.
Brad Pitt is David Mills, and I think Morgan Freeman is Detective Williams or Willis?
Somerset, I believe.
Way off. Okay, never mind. Don't listen to me.
Oh, you fucking killed me there, man. Let's dive into the scores. Let's bust out those scorecards. You know, the little ones that you go when you go mini putting and you get the little columns there off to the right. Let's see what everybody has for scores. Starting with story and pacing. Mike, what did you give it and why?
Story and pacing, I gave it an 8. A lot of that just has to do with the slow burn for me. I thought the story overall was really, really good. The payoff in the end was obviously worth the slow burn. But again, for me personally, and just what I like, it was just a little too slow for me. I don't want people to take it the wrong way. Like, I don't like the movie. I love the movie. But I'm going to have to go with the 8 for story and pacing. Most of that having to do with the pacing. I thought the story came around and tied a really nice bow around it. And I thought the story in general was pretty damn good. Different, in several aspects compared to other movies, as far as murders being committed and stuff like that. But um, I gave it an 8 for me.
Well, I think that's a solid score. I think that's a fair score. I gave it a 10. Maybe that seems
Nice.
a little bit too much on the friendly side, but I thought it earned it. I think that this movie stands on its story and pacing and character development, and the relationship between the characters. Like that dinner, like the dinner they go to, where Mill's
Yeah.
wife invites him over. It's such a weird atmosphere at first, and it sort of falls into this like cool vibe, and it ends up being like this
Yeah.
really cool, long, extended scene.
Even 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 the invite where he calls where she calls David and asks to speak to obviously the character of Morgan Freeman, and she invites him over to dinner. That entire situation is awkward as well.
I remember seeing it for the first time, going, "We about to see Morgan Freeman get in on some sort of weird, kinky threesome thing."
Honestly, I thought that's where it may be going, because you got to think at that time their relationship was, between Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt was not that good, and yeah, it was just weird, to every point that you said. So the fact that more he kind of gets off the phone and Morgan Freeman's character is like, I'm coming over to your house tonight, basically for dinner.
I could like imagine that actually. I mean, it's hard to imagine in today's day and age because just the logistics of it, but like the reaction to hearing that would be like, "What the fuck?" Pretty
Yeah,
messed
no,
up.
I agree. I agree. What did you gave it a 10, correct?
I did give it a 10, which brings us to our acting. Where were you with acting?
Acting for me is going to be the highest. I should have went 0.5 now that I think about it, but I'm going to go with a 9, which is still a very high score. But when I sit back and I really have time to sit with this, I'm going to start sending you the scores when I have a little bit more time to sit with them. Because I think I would have gave it a 9.5, because to your point, I don't know what else they could have done better as far as the acting. Brad Pitt was amazing. Morgan Freeman was obviously, and Morgan Freeman. And then Kevin Spacey, despite his outside of the world issues and fucked up mentalities, he did phenomenal in his role as well. So, yeah, I gave it a 9.
Not surprisingly, I came in with a 10 for acting. So I think 9's fair too, though. I really do. Again, though, it came down to, could they have done anything more to substantially improve the acting in this movie? And the answer I came to is no. This movie stands on its acting and storytelling. Don't get me wrong, the imagery is better. Like the imagery is great compared to most movies. It's stomach twisting. The atmosphere of it is very chilling. It's made to make you feel uncomfortable. The slow burn is also made.
Yeah.
Slow burn is there to make you feel more uncomfortable, and yet, I still find the movie stands on its storytelling and acting the most. So I gave it a 10. Which brings us to cinematography. Mike, where were you with that?
I just wasn't blown away with the cinematography. I got to sit back and I got to think about, and I got to remind myself when we do this, I got to like compare it to like The Dark Knight and other movies that we compare this to. So for me, it's not my lowest score, but I gave it a 7.5. Just nothing I was really blown away by, if I'm being honest.
I gave it a 9, and I'll admit, looking back at it, it's probably a little generous. If there was a redo, I'd probably go back and give it an 8.5, maybe even an 8. But yet I find even, the stuff that they do show us, they do a good job of showing us that and making us feel a part of the scene. And I do think that's important too. Really quickly, I just want to read some of the other scores that are out here. Matt had a 9 in story and pacing, as did Steve. 9.5 for Dean. 9.5 for acting on Matt. Same with Steve. Dean Renner had a 10. Matt has an 8 on cinematography. 8 for cinematography for Dean as well. Loves the look in the certain scenes look dark. Loves the look in certain scenes, dark and gritty. Cinematography is a 9.5 from Steve as well. Let me ask you this one, Mike. Now that you've seen this movie, and obviously you've seen the Batman a couple of times now, do you see where they
Yes.
were? Yeah, you definitely see it. Okay.
Yeah.
There is a
No
lot of,
question.
I mean, it's technically the other way around, but if you, for
Yeah,
Mike,
yeah, obviously.
and first, there's a lot of the Batman in 7.
Absolutely. You definitely see this. You definitely see the similarities. Obviously, when the people were comparing a little bit of that into it, I couldn't react to it. When people said it reminded them a little bit of 7, I was like, okay. But now I can definitely see it.
That brings us to writing and directing, Mike. I'll go first. I gave it a 10, so I am 10, 10, 9, 10 at this point.
Hell of a score, man. I gave it an 8.5. I still think an 8.5 is a really good, solid score. I don't really have too much complaining to do really with it. 8.5, just compared to the overall spectrum in other movies, 8.5 is kind of what it came to for me. I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, again, I think that the Fincher did a wonderful job directing it. It's a well-written movie. Before seeing this movie, I would say the only movie of the only real slow burn movie I liked before this one was probably The Shining.
Okay, that is true. From somebody who sits here and says I don't like a slow burn, I fucking love The Shining.
And it's a slow
So,
burn. It's Dr. Sleep. They're just those types of movies.
phenomenal movie. I not to get too off track, but I'm doing on my next episode on the Take One podcast. I'm doing top 10 Stephen King adaptations horror edition. So I went back and rewatched Doctor Sleep over the weekend as well. Such a fucking good movie. It's so good.
There's this, I don't know if it was made to be a movie or if they just released it as a TV special. I remember seeing it as a kid, but Storm of the Century or whatever. That
Mhm.
it's not the greatest movie ever. But it has a real eerie and creepy feel to it, and is a very heartbreaking story. And I remember seeing it as a kid and going, "Oh God."
Was that just like a YouTube or something, or just like a very short story, or
Sorry, I'm not sure I follow.
that movie? You said it was a movie?
Yeah.
Oh, so okay. Gotcha.
Dean says, side note, wait until this 4K comes out. The cinematography in 4K with HDR or Dolby Vision should get a boost if the 4K scan is done from a good camera negative source. Yeah, I was thrilled to hear they're doing 4K. Again, Dean was all over that as usual.
Is that this year?
I don't know. Dean, you'll have to let us know if it's this year or not. I can't wait to get my hands on it, though. And I hope, man, I'm sure it'll just be like a standard edition, but 7 had this badass fucking super special edition DVD that if you can find to get your hands on it, but it's just like loaded with all sorts of extras. And I just wish we got more stuff like that with movies that get released today. But I get it. That's why they release things 10,000 times.
Yeah, I know.
Brings us to sound and score. Mike, what do you got?
I gave it a 7. Kind of reminds me of the cinematography. Nothing just blows me away with the sound and score. I thought the sound design was fine. Like I thought it was good, but Again, just nothing to blow me away. Like if we're comparing and being honest, it doesn't have the score of a John Carpenter that I gave a 10. So just being fair and honest, I gave it a 7.
Yeah, I gave it an 8. I gave it an 8. I thought the sound design was excellent in the movie from start to finish, but I did think that it was lacking a score that could have been present there at times. And honestly, it's probably lucky it didn't get a 7 from me.
I mean, I'm sure still a good score though.
Oh, definitely. So to recap, here are the scores. Story and pacing, 8 from Mike, 10 from me. Acting is 10 from me and 9 from Mike. Cinematography is a 7.5 from Mike and a 9 from me. Writing and directing is 8.5 and a 10 from me. And sound and score was an 8 for me and a 7 for Mike on 7. What did you think the most gruesome kill was? Not going to get into the little cutscenes because we got to wrap it up here. But
okay, I might butcher this, but I believe it was the girl. I think it was a woman with the nose, if I'm being correct.
yeah,
Help me out. Yeah, I would have to go with that one. The one that sticks out to me though, is, like gruesome wise, it would have to be her. But like the one that sticks out to me is the guy who died eating the spaghetti. Like he was forced to eat until his stomach exploded. Like I don't know, that's pretty badass too. So either between those two, I thought I thought they were all good, but I don't know. I would probably have to go with the girl just because it was a little bit more gruesome. But even that, just thinking about that first kill was pretty bad too.
yeah, it's definitely stomach turning.
Yeah, or exploding.
Yeah, stomach exploding for sure. What
about you?
Yeah, for me, again, it comes back to this.
Put the gun
I
down.
saw you with the box. What was in the
Oh,
box?
yeah.
Because I envy your normal life.
Put the gun down, David.
It seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box?
Not till you give me the
What's in
gun.
the fucking box?
Give me the gun.
He he knows what's in the box as soon as he says no there.
Yeah.
At least he has an idea.
Oh, he does.
But yeah, that's probably it for me. Like that'd be horrifying. Like you have an idea
true,
what
yeah.
might be in the box, and you just, you want him to tell you that it's not, and yeah, and then at the end, John Doe wins. Right, he kills him. Brad Pitt's character's probably not going away for life, but his life is basically over.
I mean, and it makes it more gruesome too that she was pregnant and he didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
Like my God. I'm sorry. John Doe got he got what he wanted, but he got what he deserved as well.
He's my stand-up performance, though. Even though Kevin Spacey's not in very much of this movie, my God, like talk about screen presence and an ability to just make you feel uneasy without doing dick all.
Yeah.
Should we have seen it coming? I
don't know.
Let's take a peek at the scores here. So, our individual scores, Mike has 7 at 80%. I have it at a 94, giving us an overall score of 87% for David Fincher's 7, which is pretty damn good. Next week, during A Quiet Place, we will take a look. We will take a look at just the overall standings, if you will, and see where all the scores ranked to date. So be on the lookout for that. And I can actually tell you what my next movie is going to be too, Mike. So we'll know the next 3 weeks coming up. And my next one is it's going to be a nod to our buddy Jesse, who sponsors the show and is a Patreon supporter on top of that. He had me watch Coherence about a year ago, and it's a mind fuck of a movie. And so we'll check that out after the Quiet Place movies.
Can't wait.
Mike, what do you got going on, man? Where can everybody find you at?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at @MichaelBish_, on Instagram at @MBish_. You can follow the Take One podcast at @TakeOnePod_. Just released an episode this past Monday. Just kind of talking about horror in general, the state of horror, and then next Monday, I have a guest coming on, and we're gonna do our top 10 Stephen King horror adaptations. So that'll be fun, and we're launching here on the Overlook Drive-In. We obviously have 3 really good movies coming up, so that's super exciting, and I can't wait for Shawn to watch those 2 movies. And I haven't seen Coherence before, so that'll be another movie I can add to the list as well.
Maybe don't smoke a bowl or anything before watching that movie. Just
Probably won't, but okay.
But might be a good idea to avoid it. You might be tapping out before you get through it. I can't
Appreciate
follow. Anyways, you'll be able to find a Patreon video up later this week, Lambkin Lane. Be on the lookout for that. More coming at the channel too. Monday Night Fan will be back next Monday. Well, I'm not sure what we're playing yet. And got Overlook Drive-In coming back as well. And then look out for that sub YouTube channel we said was coming. Zach and I are slowly starting to put the pieces together for that, and a lot of Westeros, aka Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon content coming in over there. And actually, believe it or not, we might have some Halloween stuff to talk about soon. Nothing that's gonna make their way to your screens anytime this year, maybe not even next year, but there's rumblings coming out, and it'd be great to see and hear everybody's take on some of the rumors that are coming out of there. And then there's kind of also like what you were saying, Mike. I'm okay if it sits dormant for a while if they're just gonna, be sure about what you're doing. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for us. For Mike, everybody else, I'm Shawn. Have a great fucking night. And
Go Birds! Go Birds!
Yeah, what he said.